Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever the case may be. This is Mike, and I am currently portable in Columbus, Ohio, sitting here in the Hyatt. I think it's Hyatt. I don't know, whatever it is, hotel. Hyatt Place Hotel here in Columbus, Ohio, right near the Blueberry Raw Voice offices. It's Saturday morning. I just spent, oops, sorry about the handling noise. You might not hear that, but I'm hearing it. Anyway, I just spent basically the week traveling and down here at the office. Part of the traveling is what I'll talk about here in a little bit, but it's Saturday morning. I'm going to be heading over to the office, do a little final touch-up on some work I'm doing over there on the studio, and then I'm going to head to the Columbus airport and hopefully make it all the way to Traverse City today, back home. So that's my plan anyway, and that was my plan on Tuesday, was to get on an airplane Tuesday afternoon and fly to Columbus, Ohio. So I got on an airplane about 5 o'clock on a Tuesday evening, and with a little bit of delay on the ground for de-icing, made it to Detroit Airport, and everything was going along swimmingly, I thought. And went and had some Leo's Coney Island hot dogs. My one little splurge there, because I've been on a low carb diet, but I needed to have a little bit of Leo's Coney Island, just because that's what's in the airport there. I was going to go for some Chick-fil-A, since we don't have that up there, but I ran across Leo's, and they're pretty good. They're as good as any Coney Island place, Detroit style, and all that. And that was all going great. Made my way to the gate, and about half an hour before the flight was supposed to take off, the flight was canceled. And I thought, oh, that's great. Well, there was one more flight, and they immediately rebooked me for the later flight. Okay, fine, great. Taking off at 10 o'clock. So I sat around the airport, and about 9:55, noticing that nothing's happening and no boarding is happening and all that, I get another notification, flight's canceled. And I'm rebooked for 10 o'clock in the next morning. I said, oh, crap. So I thought, well, guess I'll go get a hotel. So I went and looked up a hotel, got a hotel. That's all fine and dandy. And then said, okay, go to the shuttle area, look for the shuttle for the hotel. We'll pick you up. We'll take you to the hotel. All's well. Spiffy dandy. I get out there, and it is an absolute madhouse. The entire Detroit airport was closed down due to ice. It was right around 32 degrees, and that was all fine and dandy. I mean, yeah, I get it. Weather, whatever, so but yeah, it was about an hour of slopping around in the slush there, and just hordes and hordes and hordes of people out there. It was just a massive, cold, freezing, sloppy humanity that, was not great, put it that way. And so I get there, get to the hotel, get checked in with a little bit of difficulty, but got in there. And of course, I don't have any of my bags, but I did have enough smarts to put some stuff in my backpack. So I had, at least some sleeping shorts and an extra pair of socks and, whatnot. But, not the most comfortable night stay in a hotel, but hey, better than sitting at the airport all night. And so, go to bed, do all that, get up, get a shower, get back into my dirty old clothes and head back to the airport for a 10 o'clock flight at 9:55, flight canceled. Rebooked 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock that night. Well, hell, if I'd have known that I was going to be not flying out till 10 o'clock at night, I would have slept in at the hotel and, had a nice leisurely breakfast and, moseyed over to the hotel at the latest, or over to the airport at the latest possible hour. But no, I was stuck at the airport. So I ended up spending a full 24 plus hours in and around the Detroit airport, which, by the way, is a very big place, at least the McNamara terminal. And, of course, I did try to get on a couple standby flights that were coming to Columbus, and I didn't get on either of those. So that kept me busy running one end of the airport, the other, whatever. Ended up with, what was it, 18,000 steps or something like that, or 19,000 steps for the day. Excuse me. I'm not going to edit this, by the way. So anyway, got 18,000 something steps that day. The day before got like 16,000. So had my step count in. Definitely got my exercise in. So I burned off those 2 hot dog buns at least. But anyway, it took me over 24 hours to fly down here for 2 45-minute flights. Yeehaw. So I lost a complete day. Actually, I didn't lose it completely. I found a nice spot in the McNamara terminal where I could sit down, plug in, set up. I did some work and got a lot of my normal tech support stuff done and all that. And finally did get in here about 10 o'clock the following night. Got the rental car with some more difficulty due to delays and whatnot. But anyway, got to the hotel, got checked in, got settled in, all that good stuff. Had a productive couple of days at the office. Like I said, I'm going to go over there here probably another hour and do a couple of more hours of work. I don't have to be back to the airport. And, well, the flight takes off at 5, but I'm going to try to get there about 3, I guess. I did just find out that the government shutdown is over, so the TSA people will be happier, I hope. And the air traffic controllers will be happier, I hope. And they'll be getting their paychecks and back pay, hopefully, real soon. So good for them and good for me. And, oh, by the way, a couple things. Detroit Airport. Okay, you would have thought that it would have been a complete madhouse the next day, the next morning getting through TSA. So, I had a 10 o'clock flight, but I wanted to get over there about 7 because I figured it's going to take me forever to get through TSA. That was the fastest mob scene TSA check-in I've ever had. And what they did, and it's pretty ingenious, and I'm really happy they did, is they had dogs working the line. So when they have dogs working the line, they forego the taking off of shoes and jackets if you don't want to and all that. And they just run the dogs and they just run the metal detectors and they don't do the big body scanner thing. So that line flew. I mean, that line was massively long. That would have been an hour and a half, 2-hour wait if they were doing the full, without the dogs thing. So somebody had the presence of mind to bring in some dogs. And so they had the dogs walking up down the line, checking for, explosives, whatever they check for, but whatever. So they had the dogs working the line, and we just flew through security. It was like the good old days. And so I was quite happy about that. A couple other takeaways. Backpacks for carry-on luggage. I am going to get rid of my backpack, or at least never use it for carry-on luggage on aircraft again, because my shoulders are still sore. This is 3 days, 4 days later, 3 days later, and, I'm kind of dreading going to the airport with my backpack, but I'm going to because, you never know. I might get stuck in Detroit again because it's winter. So I got to, pack the backpack up with some stuff that I might need if I have to go to the hotel again or rent a car and drive home. So, I wouldn't do that. If the weather's that bad, I'm not driving either. But anyway, I'm going to get one of those, I don't know, there's small roll-around computer bags / carry-on bags. I've seen quite a few of them at the airport, as you might imagine, having 24 hours to walk around and watch people. And so I'll definitely get one of those type of bags rather than the backpack for travel. That's number one. Two, I want to make sure that I pack more stuff in my carry-on. Now I'm not gonna, I still want to check bags. I had to this trip because I had to bring a big suitcase because I'm bringing home some equipment that I needed, that I need to bring back to Traverse City from here. So, I packed a big suitcase with, just a few days worth of clothes that I could have totally got away with a carry-on, on this trip. But for that, so I did bring a big suitcase and I have to check it, which is fine, whatever. But most of the time, I still like to check a bag. I hate carrying a big carry-on, but I am going to bring more with me on the airplane, as carry-on luggage, just in case, you want some toiletries and, change of underwear. I mean, for crying out loud. But, like I said, so lessons learned there. Second lesson is, in the wintertime, I think earlier flights are better flights rather than later flights. Because, the contingencies that you have, what you have available, say they cancel a flight that was supposed to go at 6 a.m, you got all day to get an alternate flight. For whatever reason, unless it's completely socked in weather, then you're kind of screwed all the way around. But you have a better chance the longer day, and especially at bigger airports, Chicago, Detroit, Atlanta, those places are going to be a royal pain in the behind to get a contingency place to stay overnight. And, I just had a birthday yesterday. I'm getting too old to try to sleep at the airport, okay? It's just not going to happen if I can help it. I think I've earned at least, the opportunity to have a bed every night. You know what I mean? So, I'm not going to do the sleep at the airport routine if I can help it. And like I said, this hasn't really ever happened to me. I've had some delays and whatnot, but I've never had a full 24 hours at an airport unplanned. So that was rather annoying. That also brings me to lesson number 3. Plan a little bit further ahead. Take the extra day before or after someplace you have to be. I didn't really have to be in Columbus at any particular time. In fact, they had canceled this flight on me one other time, but they had the decency to tell me that before I left Traverse City, so I just rebooked it for a few days later because it really didn't matter when I came down here. I just had to come down here, had some work to do here and pick up some stuff. And so that, like I said, it's all work related, but so yeah, when I book flights for, say, a conference or something, especially when the weather might be a little flaky, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, pay for the extra day in the hotel and come a little early. That way you're not in a big rush. And if, something happens with the flight, at least you're going to be on time for what you want to be at. So it's just like getting to the airport. That's the other thing. I know this, and a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. But going to the airport, okay, yeah, I live in Traverse City, Michigan. Traverse City, Michigan has exactly 4 active gates at the airport. They have the opportunity to have 6, but they have 4 active gates at the airport that they use. And so they have 3 airlines. Each airline has 1 gate, 1 airline has 2. And that's really it. And it's a dinky little airport, and there's the TSA line's usually pretty easy going. I mean, I've never seen more than a 10-minute wait at TSA, and I live exactly 1 mile from the air terminal. So I could, technically, I could probably leave my house at half an hour prior to boarding the airplane, even if I have to check bags. And a lot of times when I fly out of Traverse City, I don't check bags. But, even if I have to check bags, I could still probably leave the house half hour before boarding time and totally make the plane. But especially with this government shutdown that was going on, I went an hour and a half early. My wife thinks I'm nuts, and that's fine. But, I'd much rather sit around the airport for 45 minutes bored than panic all the way through the check-in process, hoping I'll make the flight. That's the way it goes. And like I said, I've never flown in and out of Columbus here. I've flown in now, and I will be flying out. So I don't know what the check-in process, TSA line, all that stuff is like here. So, at 5 o'clock takeoff, I'm going to be there at least by 3. I'd probably be there earlier. Depends on, how my remaining stuff at the office takes today and all that good stuff. But, yeah, definitely flying is an adventure, especially flying in the winter in the Midwest. Next flight I've got is a Southwest flight from Grand Rapids to Orlando for PodFest. By the way, I'll be speaking at PodFest down in Orlando, the PodFest Media Expo. What is that? March 7th through the 9th in Orlando. So if you're into podcasting and want to go check out a podcast event, that's a pretty good one. And it's in a nice warm spot in March. But anyway, that's going to be my next flight. And this one's going to be a direct. So if I don't, if something happens with the flight in Grand Rapids, I just go back out to my car and go home, or actually probably go over to my in-laws who live just down the road there a ways. So, it's that's going to be great. It's a direct flight, nonstop, so there'll be no airport in the middle. Whenever there's an airport in the middle, you got the chance of getting stuck. And especially, where I live in Traverse City, if I fly out of Traverse City, there's, direct flights are Detroit, Chicago, Minneapolis in the winter. And in the summer, it's maybe a couple more, Denver, Atlanta, New York, and I'm never going to any of those places directly. I'm usually flying through. Most of the time I fly through Detroit or Chicago and then on to the next destination. So it's usually just a one-stopper, but it's always Detroit or Chicago, and, that's where you're going to get stuck, or you're going to miss your flight because they drop you off at one end of the airport and you give you 20 minutes to get to the other end of the airport. Stuff like that. Coming home from Orlando last year from PodFest, we had that problem. We landed late in Chicago, and we were on, I don't know, what is it, J terminal or something at O'Hare. I don't know O'Hare Airport that well. I do know Detroit very well, by the way, though, from recent experience. But, so it was J terminal. I had to go to the L terminal or whatever. I had no idea where or what that is. That's a very confusing and spread out airport. But we did make it because the Traverse City flight was also running behind, so that was an adventure in speed walking through O'Hare Airport. And, I don't want to run into that issue. But yeah, like I said, coming home from Orlando, I think we're on a one stopper through Chicago Midway to Grand Rapids, which that won't be too bad. And on the way home, so what? So on the way home, that's not as dramatic as going to where you're going. So I'm sorry about the handling noise here. Like I said, I'm on my portable setup and probably don't have everything set just perfectly, but that's all right. It's either that or don't podcast, and I'd rather podcast. So you guys usually put up with me. But anyway, that's what's been going on. I had a great birthday yesterday, although I was away from home, so I'll probably have another little celebration when I get home. Probably tomorrow at brunch. We'll go someplace cool, and I'll eat badly again. But last night I went to one of my favorite chain restaurants, and I usually am not a chain restaurant type guy, but when I'm in Columbus, it's kind of the king of chain restaurants around here. pretty much everything around here is some sort of a chain, and it's fine. It's good stuff. But went to Joe's Crab Shack. I love seafood, and Red Lobster isn't exactly my favorite place. Not a terrible place. I'll go there. It's a good food and whatnot, but it's nothing special. But Joe's Crab Shack, we don't have that up there, and I love their crab cakes, and I love their fried clams, and oh yeah, it was decadently good and totally off my diet. So hopefully I didn't gain too much weight. Of course, with walking, was it some combined almost 30,000 steps in the Detroit airport over 2 days? I think I earned a few extra calories to burn, but we'll get back on the straight and narrow. The goal is 199 pounds, and started at 244 and down to 230 last time I checked. So that may have risen or fallen since then, but I'm going to guess it probably rose a little bit, but it's all right. Progress is made, and I'll be back on the straight and narrow. And yeah, it's almost time here. I need to start gathering my stuff and back out of the hotel here. Get to the office, do a few things, go eat some lunch, and head to the airport. So I will catch you later, and I'll be back in Traverse City, Michigan, where I understand we got a crap ton of snow, according to Kathy. So that's all right. It was funny. I got a phone call while I was at the airport. I got a phone call from my neighbor who we share a driveway. And normally I'm the one that takes care of most of the driveway snow removal, and then he does a little bit of shoveling around the mailboxes and at the end of the driveway or whatnot, and then I do the bulk of it with the snowblower. So anyway, he calls me up and says, "Hey, Mike, you mind if I borrow your snowblower?" Like, oh, go for it. Borrow it all you want. That way he gets to, he got to clear the driveway. I appreciate it very much. Thanks, Dan, if you're listening to this. But yeah, so that's great. Yeah, he said, yeah, borrow it anytime you want to. Because usually if he needs to use it, it means I'm either not in town or he's beating me to it. So, yeah, one other bad thing about traveling is I got a little tiny bit of the crud, but it's not been bad. Like I said, it's early in the morning, so got to get all that stuff moving. Anyway, let me get this put together and threw up. That's funny. Anyway, get it posted, and I will catch you later.